It had been rumored the whole offseason that Pablo Lopez was going to be shopped around. And honestly, first of all, Pablo Lopez, Jose Salas, and Byron Churio went to the Twins in exchange for now second baseman Luis Ariz. That's the trade. Steves, what are your initial thoughts?
So when I was recording the steps check for this, I like flip-flopped in my head about like what I had thought about the trade. Because like at face value, right? You get the Marlins get a guy of Luis Arraez's caliber, and so he's like an all-star caliber player. And now you can slot him at second base. You move Jazz out into the outfield. And so I like that for them. But you look and they had to move Pablo Lopez. It just kind of was a necessity for them to do. But then you look at it and they're still not better than the Braves or the Mets or the Phillies. So there's no I don't see the upside in it because those three teams are going to be good for the next 3 or 4 seasons.
Honestly, the Marlins lost this trade pretty heavily.
Yeah.
Um, if anything, it should have been Luis Ariz and prospects for Pablo Lopez, because if a starting pitcher that was that coveted by many teams, the Red Sox were obviously linked to him. The Twins obviously ended up being linked to them. I feel like the Cardinals could have been a really good fit for him. Like, there's so many teams with an opportunity to pay for him, and you're shipping him and prospects
Yeah.
for. Luis Ariz is a fine bat, but
Yeah.
it's just I feel like that was a poor move.
I agree. I think it's just Arias. Arias is a good player, but you're giving up another good player and your number five prospect, which I think he falls to like 13 on the Twins prospect scale, and then Byron Trio, who isn't really a well-known prospect, but he has some positive upside at least in my opinion. So those are two pretty good young guys, and you're giving up them along with this highly coveted pitcher, as Brad says. So I just don't like the trade for the Marlins, but I guess now they have a all-star caliber second baseman.
Again, it just feels like they didn't need an infielder though. They
No,
had a
they
full
need outfield.
infield. Like, they needed an
Well,
outfield, they needed an offensive catcher, they
you
needed
move
a
Jazz.
DH. But like, you shouldn't be moving around parts. You should be going out and getting items that you genuinely need. Like, the Marlins had a plethora of pitching. I'm fine with them moving Lopez. It's just they sold so low on him.
Yeah,
Like, the first 2 months of his season are going to be great. If you look at just every season that he's pitched over the last couple of years, his first like month or two are like Cy Young caliber, and then he just falls off the face of the earth. Normally, it's correlated to an injury, but this year he kind of just fell off. You remember, like, didn't he win like best pitcher of the month in April? I think that sounds right.
he won it earlier on in the season,
Yeah,
but he again, yeah, he's always he'll always fall off the face of the earth like every single season.
yeah. And so, like, I don't get, if the Marlins are selling him at such a cheap price of where they're actually sending prospects with him. I don't get why they didn't just keep him for the first month or so when he's pitching ridiculously well and try and ship him to a team that's like, oh wow, look at how good he's pitching.
I think we're gonna keep beating up on the Marlins. I mean, at least they're making moves now. Like we were making fun of them like a month or two ago about how they've made like one move and now they've signed a couple people and traded
But
a
they haven't
couple
gotten any
people
better.
and they haven't. They've gotten a better name, I would say. They got Luis Ariz is the bigger name.
I just don't. This Marlins team, it doesn't feel much different. If I'm gonna be
It's
perfectly honest,
it's because it's not different. And they're
like,
not gonna they're better than the Nationals. That's about it.
and that's not gonna get you anywhere at this point.
Nope.
Be worse than the Nationals. Get a better draft pick supposedly, but like, I mean, their starting rotation's very good. It was last year too. It was one of the best in the league. Their lineup has literally no thump. It is Garrett Cooper and Jorge Soler. And if neither of them perform, this offense is literally a dud.
Yeah.
Um, I mean, oh, you can flip the coin though. Like, good job, Twins.
Yeah,
Twins,
100%.
like, Twins just did a great job. It obviously, you're losing the batting champion last year in Luis Ariz, but you have players that can go into the positions where he was playing. Jorge Polanco is going to stay at second base. It looks like Alex Kirilloff's projected as their first baseman right now, which is fine. It gives him an opportunity to really be an everyday player and see if that lets him develop into like a quality major league player. I know he's a prospect in the past. Stebbs, do you like this move for the Twins?
I mean, I do, and I'm looking up. Jose Salas is I was spot on. He was the 13th, he's the Twins' 13th ranked prospect right now, and he is supposed is his ETA is 2024, so not this coming season, the following season. So again, and that might be a good type of guy that Carlos Correa could mentor for a little bit. Um, but I think the Twins have we're gonna talk about it a bunch, but the Twins have won this trade. I think the Marlins got the bigger name, but the Twins got better. And
Yeah.
I think they're got better for the long term.
And it right now he's on Fangraphs roster resource. He's slotted in as their number one. I don't inherently think Pablo Lopez is a number one starter. I think it's Joe Ryan. But that's a really good starting rotation right now. It's Pablo Lopez, Sonny Gray, Joe Ryan, Tyler Mahle, and Kenta Maeda, with Chris Paddock filtering in when he gets back from his injury.
Yeah.
So like that's generally not horrible. This team screams exactly what they did last year. They're going to be a contender in their division for 2 or 3 months, and they're going to kind of fall off.
I think I think they're better. They're better than the Tigers and the Royals, obviously. I don't think they're better than the Guardians, and I don't. The issue right now is I don't know how they fare against the White Sox.
I'd argue that they have a better lineup all around.
I can agree with that. And I think I don't see the White Sox doing very good this year. I think just like last year. So I think they might come second in the Central, but that doesn't mean they're going to make the playoffs.
I mean, the Central really just projects to be a division or bust, even if the Guardians are
Yeah.
very good. Um, but like right now, we've talked about the Twins when Correa resigned, but it's Buxton, Correa, Polanco, Kepler, Miranda, Gallo, Kirilloff, Vasquez, Gordon. Not a bad lineup.
Yep.
It is much better than an average team. And I saw people saying, "Oh, just a mediocre team trading a good player to a mediocre team for a good player." The Twins are much better than the Marlins. It's like
Yes.
let's not get
100%.
this on. Let's not just put this incorrectly. The Twins are a actual baseball team. The Marlins are a shell of one. And honestly, the Twins also got prospects out of it. Steps, he could tell us through Jose Salas real quick.
Yeah, I got you. So, Jose Salas did not hit in the Arizona Fall League this year. He's a very good player. His tools are he's got a 25 out of 60 hit, 20 out of 50 game power, 45 out of 55 raw power, 55 out of 50 speed, and 35 out of 45 fielding. So I think I definitely think this is a guy that Carlos Correa can mentor, and I think he'll benefit from having Carlos Correa as his mentor. I honestly am extremely high. Like now that I've like looked at him, I think he will be the heir to Carlos Correa in Minnesota.
I think the issue with that though is that he is also a shortstop, and so is Carlos Correa. Um,
Yeah.
Honestly, if anything, it says that he's like projected very well. His defenses, at least. Um, he could maybe swap to second base, but a 6'2" second baseman doesn't seem to be great.
That's fair. And you could it like once Correa kind of like obviously it's is his legs the issue, but like once he kind of starts wearing down, then maybe slotting Correa to second might be a smart idea. I doubt they would do that, but that might not be the worst idea in the world to try and lengthen his career.
I feel
Or
like
even
they
shift
might
into
go the other
DH.
way and go put him at third and put Miranda at DH.
Maybe.
Because right now it just looks like Gallo's up after this year. I think Kepler's a free agent after this year, and Polanco's a free agent after this year. So obviously there's gonna be the second base opening next season unless they extend him. Polanco, that is.
Yeah.
I just feel like the Twins could have really used an outfield prospect here.
So they did get one.
They
They
did.
did get one, but
Yeah.
he's not
17.
as good and
Yeah,
young.
he's 17. Um, the other guy we're talking about is Byron Churio, who is, quote, one hot summer away from being a valued prospect, but that means he's not a valued prospect yet.
Yeah.
He is projectable physically, and it kind of fits his like ability to put bat to ball. He struck out and walked at the same rate. It's just he's 17,
Yeah.
and that really just screams long time in the minor leagues. Won't really be around to help this Twins team.
I mean, yeah, I mean that's 100% fair, but I think you're going out and you're getting this guy for the future. Like it's kind of like the Nats. The Nats when they traded Juan Soto, they went out and got a guy like James Wood, who is and who is it? Jarlin Susana. Like those guys are kind of younger and it'll take time for them to get up, but they will be up eventually to help you in the future.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not going to knock the Twins at all on this because they
Mm,
got Pablo Lopez and prospects. Even if these are like some crappy prospects, which they're honestly not, like it's a win. It's a win and then some. So good job, Twins. You have fleeced the Marlins, and Marlins, you sold the one pitcher that you were going to trade this offseason at a very low price.